What internet marketing expert should you spend your valuable time listening to? Listen to someone who has over 20 years of web marketing experience and hundreds of website marketing success stories. That man is Aaron Sparks from Site Strategics. And this is Edge of the Web Radio.
Let's focus on Sparks Talks. I love the name. I just love the name.
I kind of thought you would.
Oh, stop. It's like it was made for me.
Hey, they have tons of shows on cable about cars, let me tell you.
There's a Chevy Spark car, and it's
yes, that is
Spark.com, and it leads you all kinds of places.
All right.
Well, but it only lasts 15 minutes.
The car? wait, I'm like, sorry.
You can take that as you will.
Let's not go back to my inadequacies.
Stop it. Put him back in the box.
All right.
All right, hey, I got some audio for you. Check this out.
This is my first time attending. This is my third Sparks event.
I've been attending Sparks since the beginning.
Tom Ford. This is my first time. I'm a rookie.
My name's Kevin Emmons. I've been a Sparks member for about a year.
I've been coming for 3 months now. This is my third one.
Why I already love Sparks.
Why I love Sparks, because it's a great way to meet people.
I love that you never know what you're going to get, and you always walk away with a new perspective.
I mean, listen to it. It's a rambunctious crowd. It's a lot of fun.
It's also a great way to learn about others.
You can hear the buzz out here in the crowd. Great to see some fantastic TED speakers.
When you're done watching a TED Talk, you kind of want to tell everybody about it. Well, at Sparks, you can't.
It's a great event to hear from a variety of speakers who have a wealth of knowledge.
They asked me the question, why do I love Sparks? I love Sparks because Sparks is what it says it is. It's inspiring, it's uplifting, it's energetic, it's entertaining. It's all that plus a whole lot more.
And why I love Sparks is because it's a message.
It's a great event.
I love it, and you guys got to check it out.
The energy's exciting, and it makes you think.
Don't delay. Click the registration button and grab your ticket for the next Sparks event near you.
Why I love Sparks. I mean, that right there.
And they all called you it, so it's even better.
Well, that was a great video. You probably couldn't see it on the radio now, could you?
Yeah.
But
you see it on the website at sparkstalk.com.
Nice. Sparkstalk.com is where you need to go. Each month, business owners, business development people, and fans of TED Talks. And if you haven't seen TED Talks, I urge you, go download the app, go to the site, check out what they've got going on, because it's been an inspiration for a lot of us. Right. And it's a great, these small vignettes of 15 5-minute type of speeches. Mm-hmm. It's a great way to have a concise, deliberate focus on a particular issue. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So Chris, tell me a little bit about the origin of Sparks Talks. Give me an idea.
Thanks for asking.
Yep.
So back then, my first Sparks Talk was Simon Sinek's Start With Why.
Yeah.
And it was 18 minutes long, and it saved me from reading a 450-page book, because the guy that I knew that read the book said, you just watch this video and you get the whole thing. And I went, oh, that's really awesome. And so he shared it with a lot of people. But what I didn't have in my backyard was a TED event.
Right.
And so what I wanted was the experience, because we share these videos with each other, was to experience it in community, because when we're all together and watch something, then you might pick something else up, and you can it's really an interesting thing. You can really feel the energy in the room when something's positive, negative, etc.
Right.
And so people are impacted and affected by the audience itself.
Absolutely.
It adds a dimension, 3 dimensions. I call it the fourth dimension of the energy in the room. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted that. But then I wanted to be able to talk about what I experienced with other people that had just experienced it. So we have the mingle that's before the show, which is an hour where people just come in to get a cocktail or a beverage and a slice of pizza, and they talk with one another, and then they watch this half-hour show, and then they get up and spend another hour talking with each other about what they've experienced. And that's, I think, what really makes the big difference. And quite frankly, as a consultant like you are, to business owners, I don't want a business owner that says, I need an email marketing campaign that goes out on Tuesdays at 2 o'clock. That's not working for me. I got to figure out what works for them, probably like you do.
Yep.
So I'm looking for I was looking for a mechanism that would bring people together that were curious, that were interested in personal and business development of themselves. They wanted to grow past wherever they were, and so that's really the catalyst for why we started Sparks.
That's really interesting. And marketing in its own right is audience participation.
Yes, it's engagement
all the time.
It's engagement, baby.
If you are sending out something into the ether and nobody's listening to it, it's not really marketing. It's somebody's futile attempt.
Exactly.
You have to pay attention to your audience, and in the realms of speaking, right, and talking about certain things that you're passionate about, you have to have that type of engagement. You have to have that feedback in order to understand what your audience is truly wanting to see from you, right?
Exactly.
So, how many, different types of topics have people spoken about at these different?
Well, we have over 110 talks online, so there's quite a bit of different stuff on there, and you can go back through it and use keywords like inspiration or motivation. You can certainly find a lot of tags over the years. You can look up people by name as well when you index it, but we try to help people along the idea of teachable moments, life lessons learned, stories of the underdog and retribution and just things learned in life. And so I loved Scott Wise's talk from Scotty's Brew House. He did a 10-minute talk about it 7 or 8 months ago, and it was about how the brain infection that he almost killed him caused him to reevaluate his life, recommit his life to Christ, think about his family, but beyond that, think about the culture that he was creating with his employees, which were basically these nomad servers that would go from wherever to ever, which really were about what's in it for them. And during the course of his talk, he almost broke down into tears twice, and there wasn't a dry eye in the whole house.
Oh my gosh.
So everybody afterwards was just a buzz about, and more authentic and more transparent about who they were at the same time, because they connected with him on the stage.
These breakthrough moments, and you can see it happening whenever the audience is there, ready to participate, as opposed to different events, and we've seen them all through our business endeavors, where there's more of a stoic type of separation. Right, and you get a little bit of something from the speaker, but you don't have inspiration. It's tough to create that type of atmosphere where people are willing not only to listen and get motivated, but on top of that, having people that are willing to stand up and share a heck of a lot of things that they haven't they really weren't prepared for or weren't ready to actually explore.
Well, I had Doug Carr in our audience after about 2 years of trying to get Doug to show up to my show, and I'm going to put the words in his mouth before he gives his reaction. But I looked at him after the show because I made him sit right next to me, and I said, "So what'd you think?" And he was like, "Oh my God, that was amazing!"
Awesome.
But here's what I'll say too, though, is that I think. I speak at a lot of events, right? So it's hey, what are you going to speak on? Get your presentation together, and you got 15 minutes or whatever. Go do it.
Yep.
And then thank you for coming. That kind of thing. And I think you're not taking enough credit for what you've done with the show too, though, from a production standpoint, preparation standpoint, everything else. Everything is very, very deliberate in there. So everything from the timing of it, the warm up. Right?
Yeah.
You have a warm-up person that kind of comes out and gets the ball rolling, before that person. I mean, it is each event is kind of like it elevates as the night goes on. Everybody kind of comes in and starts mingles and and by the time someone starts speaking, people are kind of warmed up, and then that person speaks and inspires, and then all of a sudden, slam! The big guy comes out, and that. Just goes over, and so you're just energized. Like
That's fantastic.
It's my son DJs, and he says, it's he's able to manipulate the crowd from, just walking in and mingling to by the time they get out, they're, practically passing out, sweating and everything else. It's that same kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's a pace to it, and then Chris is a friend, so watching him was great too, because he's pretty much. He's like a stage manager before the event, just making sure everything is done right.
Yes, it has to be done.
But that's not
the bad guy has to come out.
No, it's not bad guy. It's how passionate
you're attending.
You are.
You're attending to the pace. There is a dynamic, and if nobody's watching any breaks in that system, right? you can have deadly crickets.
Well, it's obvious what you care about is that people walk away inspired and everything else, and so that's what makes the difference in the event. The speakers are fantastic, don't get me wrong, but all the preparation that's put into it, and then the pace of the event. And
the TED conferences spend between 60 and 80 hours, with half of it with a paid speech coach on every single speaker.
Oh my Lord!
We spend less than an hour via email over a 2 to 3 month period with a person, helping them. And so the people that stand on our stage have my gratitude, but my respect, because there's a timer there, and when that timer hits 0, they're clapped off the stage, and the audience is instructed to do that. And it was really, I just have to say real quick that the first guy that did it was a great speaker, and I talked him into coming to do it as a proof of concept in front of this crowd that I was going to have. I had about 150 people in the room, and he's supposed to give me all his slides the day before, so I can build it into the deck. He walks in 5 minutes before I'm supposed to take the microphone and hands me a fob drive, and I'm like cussing him out while I'm plugging the thing in, and I'm saying, what in the hell? And I copy 47 slides over, and I said, you're never going to get through 12 in 10 minutes. And he goes, yeah, whatever. I go, listen, no, seriously, see the timer on the wall? We're going to count. We're going to instruct them to clap you off the stage when it hits 0. You've got 10 minutes. He's like, yeah. I go, I'm serious. He goes, if you say 10 minutes one more time, I'm not even going to do it. I said, okay. So it hit 10 minutes, and he was on like slide 17. And the applause went on for 10 seconds as he was speaking when he finally went, I guess that's my time.
Yeah.
And
wow.
I finished the story is to say he said afterwards that, that was really great, but you'll learn eventually that 10 minutes is entirely too short. Nobody can get anything done with that. But what I want to footnote that with is saying that this guy, David Horan, did a talk about 3 months ago that's 4 minutes long, and it's about daring to dream again. And he's done this talk for 40 minutes all over the city for about a year and a half, nonprofits, unemployment groups, churches, things like that.
Sure.
I interview every speaker after the show, and I ask them the same question: what feedback stood out for you? And he said the most important thing I got out of the whole thing was the feedback from everybody that came up to me afterwards was exactly the same after 4 minutes as it was for 40 minutes. And what it made him realize is that he didn't need as many words to get the same point across. And I'm telling you, it's like taking a blog post down to a tweet.
Yep.
It can be done. You can say the same kind of things, and you can create something with someone else with less is more.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's what this is about. It's like we have this ADD world that's getting focused and unfocused more and more. And so we've created a situation where people are trying to get something, and they've got a timer there, and they know it's only 4 minutes, and I can hold on, and they're there. You know what I mean? It's like the YouTube videos. You give it every 30 seconds. You're giving them permission for another 30 seconds. You'll watch it.
Absolutely. All right. Well, and in this space, we're talking about speakers and talking to crowds, and the entire initiative that you've got is so much different than anything else that we've seen in the past here. It's very similar to TED Talks in the space that they have a very small amount of time to speak, but it is crowd engagement. It is a whole other depth of inspiration with the speakers that come to your events, right?
Yeah, they're very engaged because they want to get something, because they don't know what the speakers are going to talk about.
Yep.
And so it's a great place for brand impressions. So our sponsors are really buying an amazing point in time, because our audience is really open to what they're getting in a half an hour show, that when we inject in the ad for the sponsors, which is really just a short mention.
Sure.
That's a good brand impression versus, I want you to listen for 30 seconds about my car dealership again.
Absolutely. So tell us about the next Sparks Talk that's coming up.
So this Wednesday, the 12th of August, is our next Sparks event at 5 o'clock at the Moondog Tavern. We've still got about 60 tickets left. It's our last Sparks Talk as it has been for the last 3 years. We're doing a huge shift. We've put a membership component in place in order to give a lot of value to our members that are joining. But people are, it's change management. So some people are going to walk away, and they're never going to come back because they're not getting in for free anymore. And we're just putting a value on something that we're very passionate about. It demonstrates our model to future licensees, because our goal is to have 20 of these across the country. We need a situation where we can show membership, how it's driven, a good revenue model that makes sense, and as well as the exit survey that still says the quality is there.
That's fantastic. Now, you have this model that you're looking to place in a number of different cities. You're looking at Louisville. You're also looking down in Miami, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, exactly. We got approached by a guy who we're going to have a meeting with in a couple days that we're going to talk about licensing into Miami. So I'm excited. I never thought I'd go that far that fast, but it's like, hey, whatever.
Well, it's a brush fire, and people are grabbing hold of it. They love the type of quick focus, but true innovations coming from here. Now, you also have an app that you can.
I'm just looking forward to Thong Night.
Oh my Lord! There will never be a thong night.
Then I'm not going.
Okay. Yeah, the Sparks Mobile Connector app to keep us on schedule is available in both iTunes and on the Google Play Store for the Android.
Excellent, and it's a connector basically where other members can actually connect. It's a small social network where you can actually, in a particular space, you're seeing their business profile, their different social media connections, right?
Yeah, but it gives us the ability to take action, because what we don't do when we swap a business card is take immediate action. Yeah, you can pick up the phone, you can call the guy, or you could bang it in and hit an email, but you're not entering into your database. You're usually putting that off to scan it later or whatever, and all of a sudden you want to have this big stack of cards and you want to get that done, but this allows you to take immediate action, and then you push a couple buttons and you're exporting a CSV out so you can upload it into your email marketing campaign or your CRM very quickly. That is a
great thing, and that's very useful. Now, this is not a networking event per se. This is part business orientation, part innovation, part listening exercise, because people are not going there to be part of a dry networking experience. They're going there for the experience of the presentation. Right?
It's more organic networking. People do come there to meet other people. They're interested in who they're going to connect with, but they're there for the show. But then some people just come for the show. I mean, I see people that just come in and they grab a seat and they sit there during the whole first mingle, and you're like wondering, why not? Come over here and meet some of these other fun people, or something. So.
Have you seen this? Kind of interesting. You've been doing this for 3 years. Have you seen your regular participants kind of? Everybody has their own different behaviors start coming out of their shell and actually being more engaged over a period of time. It's almost like a behavior model in its own right. There are these presentations, right?
Yeah, we've seen a lot of that, but we built this app in order to help members find other people, because the members will actually be able to see all users of the app, whether they're members or not, that are checked in at the door.
Oh, very cool.
So you're going to be able to see their face, their business name, and their classification of their business. So you can walk across the room and say, "Hey, I can recognize Aaron's face wherever it is, and I'm interested in talking with you because you do marketing." And that starts that conversation. So instead of having those organic 5 connections that make no sense whatsoever at the moment, you can try to have those connections be more, laser focused, I guess. I
appreciate that. All right, last thing that I wanted to bring up is something I really keyed in whenever I was watching some of the videos. You were talking about the vision that you had, the next level of Sparks Talks, and it struck me. It was very, very inspiring to see that you were sharing your perspective of Christianity, and that you were right there and be able to broadcast that in front of your entire audience. We don't see that many companies nearly enough actually sharing their belief in following Christ and how that works in your daily routine. Tell us a little bit about that in respect of Sparks Talks.
Yeah, so for me, I mean, it's really about first touches and first steps. It might take 14 people to convert somebody to a believer, but I might be number 1, or I might be number 5, and so I lead with my faith and try to in all things, and I certainly am not perfect in any way.
Sure.
But I try to use those words like I'm blessed and I'm grateful and I give glory to Him and things like that, because it just helps people know where I'm at, where I'm coming from. But I'm the first to say, hey, I'm flawed and I'm broken and I'm just trying to be better. But I'm trying to create an atmosphere of people that realize that this isn't about perfection. It's about striving every day to be better, because it's encouraging, it's motivating, and at the same time.
Fantastic.